Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on top left side as the Black Hole Lash. We got Lovi. Spawn on the bottom right side as the Blue Moon Sami. We got Matagi, which is that name well enough. Either way, this is a Fog War map. There's triple bases, port and airport, in both sides of the corner of the map. Decent amount of roads, forests, and properties in the map. We got a lab in the center of the map as well, surrounded by some shores. So yep, this should be a pretty good capture map. There's a lot of fog of war and capability for Lash to use her passive day to day. Though of course, I always think Lash is a little bit of weaker COs. In the campaign, she's portrayed as pretty strong, but that's also one thing nice about map trickery, where an enemy could be portrayed as strong, but in actuality their powers are pretty weak. She's relatively simple. You get +% attack for every single terrain star. So, when this map is filled with planes, she effectively has almost a 10% attack per attack power for almost all units. Force for to do ambush from that hold line, +20% attack, and on properties, +30% attack. On these rows, +0% attack. I think our biggest problem right now is when it comes to Lash is her power is pretty much useless. This map in particular is so, since this is a map filled with roads, so nothing slow her down. Terrain tactics, it simply just makes all the terrain cost 1, similar to like the day-to-day passive of Sturm. This honestly should be a 2-star power rather than a 4-star power. Middle ground could be 3 stars, but 4 is way too expensive. If you want to compare it to other mobility COs such as Adder or Cole, of course gets plus additional firepower onto roads, which is a bit of a variation alternative to the additional firepower based on defense stars. Very similar there. But what gets increased movement speed on planes? Wheeled units. Effectively, wheeled units will get twice the movement speed, but tracked units get no movement speed when the powers pop. Track units do get basically +1 movement speed per forest they go through. So it does make it down to 1 from 2. So in best case scenario for terrain tactics, wheeled vehicles move double and mechanized units just move 1 additional space. More closer to an Adder 2-star rather than to a 4-star power, to say the least. But that's just my brief complaint about Lash. Same squad as the capture specialist, and there's a lot of properties here to capture. So let's actually get started. Though I do want to pull up the CO chart just on my other screen, so just in case there's any small things I miss. Either way, let's go ahead and get started actually. Oh, and I just want to make sure. Damage calculator, yep, that is visible. Of course, Lash's superpower allows her to double defense stars, which can be quite nice. And compared to Combi, let's just say Prime Tactics on a planes, it gives her +10% defense, +10% attack, effectively, for 7 stars. On properties, compare that to say Combi with a 3-star, 3 additional stars, which will Combi provides. See, Samurai Boost does do 40% increased attack and 50% increased defense at her 7-star superpower, versus Lash's superpower only on properties would give her +30% defense and attack. So it's even most best case scenarios for her. Her superpower is weaker than various counterparts, though Combi may be a bit of a poor reference point. When it comes to Kindle, when it comes to firepower from properties, she has, of course, a day-to-day +40% from properties, which is similar to Lash's +30% for day-to-day. And then when her Kindle's power, 3 stars is popped, of course it does get increased 80% as opposed to Lash's superpower, which is +30, which is 7 stars. I think, honestly, if Lash's power gets reduced to 2 stars and Pollar's superpower remains at 3 additional stars and making a total of 5 stars, that may make her more properly balanced. By the way, that's enough talking about Lash's lack of power. She is going a staggering number of recons. She has right now 4 recons on the map. Sami is, of course, an infantry specialist, so recons will have capability to fight them. And this may be the best case scenario for Lash to pop terrain tactics for power rather than saving up for a superpower. Because like I mentioned beforehand, when it comes to mobility COs, this would allow her recons to move twice as fast on planes. Of course, there is a good number of roads on the map, so she won't really probably maximize that all too much. Minimize the extreme negatives of forest, and some of the map, remember, shores don't provide any movement negative penalties for wheeled vehicles, so they're still going to move 1 there. So her recons will probably get about +2 to +3 movement speed with terrain tactics. So I think Lash is just eyeing for terrain tactics. Granted, I understand why some players do not want to have any balance changes in Advanced Wars Wide Web, because sometimes you just want to try as faithful to the cartridge as possible, and once you start introducing balance changes, then you're going to try to introduce balance changes for everybody else. Which I completely understand. I remember Kane's Wrath community, Command & Conquer Kane's Wrath community had the same argument as well with the community balance patches, which mostly were originally meant for bug fixes, and then it's like people start talking about balance fixes, which is a whole nother topic. Like, how faithful do you want to the base game? How much do you want to change? What would be good balance? A very debatable topic, and sometimes you don't really want to address every single balance in this change, because then you start, because of balancing probably start going lean towards like Days of Ruin, like when it comes to Navy, which is pretty good. Days of Ruin does a great job rebalancing Navy entirely. Lash's recons going around engaging a lot of infantry units, but looks like overall Lash is a day behind when it comes to value. Lash has got an artillery piece as well. And down here we do have a Lash tank. Sami has captured a comm tower. And Sami has deployed out a battlecopter. Her battlecopters are completely, utterly ordinary, if I remember correctly. Other direct units lose minus 10% attack. So it looks like the battlecopters have 10% less firepower, but that's not super impactful. Battlecopters still gonna be just fine. Lash is going to make a swipe for her own comm tower, and I don't think Sami's going to have vision range to interrupt it. Lash now has a property lead by 2 properties, but Sami looks like to have 3 properties captured up next turn. That one has 7 left. Tank artillery. Finish off some of those units. Artillery piece and a forest will provide some protection. A lot of recon units up north. Sami only has mechs to engage the various armed assets. Lash has a pulled out anti-air, which will be used against battlecopter and against infantry. So anti-airs, I think, overall is a pretty good comp item right now against Sami. Though she has some tanks now being pulled on the field, as well as an artillery piece. Tank artillery infantry. Interrupts the capture there. Battlecopter gets a first strike on that tank, and there's nothing much Lash can do against it. She could try taking this recon unit, parking on top of the city, and fire upon the Battlecopter. I wonder how the Lash recon is onto a versus a Battlecopter from a city. 2 points of damage, not great. Probably cost effective though, perhaps not. But one of those things, well, she may just have to do it because she doesn't have anything else down there. Lash is putting forward with a decent force. She has pretty good control up here. Though the Sami mechs with a double time being plus from movement range could get a pretty good strike. But with only a double time, they will only be range of a recon, which is not exactly a great thing to strike. That looks like my voice is already starting to crack. I think it's a good strike there on the recon. Well, takes out that recon there. Lash's recon will be safe for the time frame, but she'll probably lose her tank. And that may be a good thing for Lash, because then this ATR will be in range. And take out the Battlecopter. And with that, the tank goes down, and so will the Sami Battlecopter. But now some Sami tanks are pushing way forward. The property value right now is even at 18,000 versus 18,000. Sami has a double time. Artillery makes its way down south. I think artillery units can actually be pretty nice on what's it call it? On Fog of War, since they're able to hide and get a first strike from the shadows from the forest. But of course, you can't mass spam out, but more of a limited support unit. And I say that, and Lash deploys out a rocket. I don't know if a rocket's a good idea. It may be better to deploy it here. Rock is not super fast. Her terrain tactics may be necessary to help get it moving outside the base across the plains. But is it worth it? Let's see what else can get value from it. Mech gets the first strike on a recon, one-shotting it. Mech gets another shot there, take out another Lash recon. Lash is also pretty close to a... What was her name of her superpower again? Prime Tactics. I was going to say Terrain Master or something like that. The more Sami tanks right now. Lash does have about a turn ahead worth of value at the moment. So no Prime Tactics, or to try and go for some initial value engagements. Triple star, attack star, plus 30% attack firepower there on that mech, easily one-shotting it. The Lashes are rocks for forward. There's actually a decent amount of roads this direction here. So maybe the Lash rock can get into one of these forests right here in a good firing position. No cover like from a mountain, so she will have to provide her blockers, but he's keeping it hidden will provide some concealment. Oh no. Sami's rotating foot down in the middle, getting some tanks there, recons, anti-air. Lash has spotted a Battlecopter. That's our first Battlecopter this game. triple mech and a battle copter there. Artillery piece gets the first strike. Infantry gets some hits there. Pole's about to tank just get repaired up a little bit. Train tactics. Or prime tactics. Is there much you can get done? I mean, there's not many conflicts over here. Give her a lot of extra defense for the capturing infantry. But she's no Sami. She gets trapped like a stepsister. Now there's a victory march for Sami, and a lot could happen for that. That gives her what? Plus 1 or 2 movement speed. Plus 2 movement speed for all foot soldiers, and greatly improves their attack, and of course the 1 turn captures. I don't know if there's too many. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. Oh no. See the transport copter does not see the infantry unit. That's game over. That is actually game over. And this is why I have a paranoia for Sami players when fighting against them, because you should always have a unit on top of your HQ. It could be a simple infantry unit, because that's game. Sami could push forward the transport recon scouted out. And that's game. Yep. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to next replay.